first mass killing after Xiao Qiong's death. The hijackers tightened their control over the ship. They confiscated all the squid knives and sharpened 9 new blades from tools in the freezer room, each with a 20-centimeter edge, sharp and deadly. They set up guard shifts, 4 men at a time, patrolling with knives and iron rods, making sure no one could contact the captain or escape with lifeboats. Tension weighed heavily on everyone. To calm the others, Liu Gai reassured them. "We're only trying to hijack the ship and go home. When we get back, we'll sue the company. I even know a lawyer in Jinan who can help us." Some crew members tried to convince themselves this wasn't unusual. One old sailor, Vale Baoyuan, said, "If someone disappears at sea, it's nothing. People fall overboard all the time." His words were meant to ease nerves, but in truth, everyone feared the same thing, that the situation was spinning out of control. The crew now divided into factions. The management side, led by Captain Li, still held by force, but alive. The Northeasterners, loyal to Liu Gai. The Inner Mongolian group, led by Bao De. The rest, caught in between, terrified and neutral. Among the original core officers, only the chief engineer, Wen Du, was still free. The cook was dead, the captain tied up, and the first mate under guard. Liu Gai began to notice suspicious signs. Fuel consumption suddenly spiked far beyond normal. Auxiliary engines went missing. Wen Du, his brother Wen Mi, and others like Yu Pan and Shan Guoxi often whispered together in corners. Guo was still free, that Wen Du was sabotaging the ship and planning resistance. Then, another sailor, Bo Fujun, came forward to warn him. Yu Pan said they're planning to fight back. They even tried to recruit me. Let's shield it. Liu and Bao met in secret. Bao's response was blunt. "What else can we do? Kill them all." Liu agreed, and together they laid out a plan for mass murder. 2 reluctant men were pressured into joining, Feng Xingyan and Mei Lingsheng. They hadn't wanted to be part of the hijacking, but now Bao threatened them. "Either you join us, or we throw you into the sea." Fearing for their lives, both gave in. On a July night in 2011, the ship's speakers suddenly blasted loud music, masking the sounds of what was to come. The killings begin. Huang tricked Wen Do, telling him the steering gear was broken. When Wen went to check, Bao ambushed him from behind with a knife, stabbing so hard the blade pierced through his chest. As Wen staggered back, Liu Chenjiang and Jiang rushed in, stabbing wildly until he collapsed. His body was thrown into the ocean. Moments later, they stormed into Wen Mi's cabin. Huang put a knife to another sailor's throat, while the others stabbed Wen Mi to death, then dumped his body overboard. Next was Yu Yepen. Called out of his cabin, he was stabbed by 3 men at once. Bleeding heavily, he staggered to the side of the ship and leapt into the sea, disappearing into the waves. Then they dragged out Liu Gang, who screamed for help, but with music blaring across the deck, no one could hear. Biao, growing impatient, stormed him repeatedly before tossing him into the water. Biao, growing impatient, stormed into the 12-man cabin where Wang Yongbo, the second mate, was sleeping. Bao ripped off his blanket and plunged his knife into him. The others joined in, stabbing until his intestines spilled across the floor. Liu Gai entered the room, saw the dying officer, and sneered. "Isn't this the second mate? Why are you lying on the floor?" Then he too stabbed him, before the body was hauled out and dumped into the sea. The slaughter continued. Jiang Shatao was ambushed in the corridor and killed by stabbings, before being thrown overboard. The horror was so overwhelming that one man, the young college graduate Ma Yuqiao, broke down completely. He had watched his shipmates butchered before his eyes. That night, he disappeared, most likely throwing himself into the ocean in despair. But it wasn't over. By dawn, the hijackers decided 3 more had to die. Wu Guji, Chen Guzhun, and Bo Fuzhen all suspected of siding with the engineer. Chen was dragged to the Bao. When asked if he had a bank card, he said no. Without hesitation, Liu pushed him into the Xi. He tried to swim, but soon sank. Bo Fujun, who had once informed on others, was next. Stabbed repeatedly by Mei and Wang Peng, bleeding heavily. He collapsed. Liu kicked him into the water. Finally, Wu Guzhi was brought out. Feng struck first, stabbing him in the stomach. Wang and Mei followed. Wu jumped overboard, only to be swallowed by the waves. By the time the massacre ended, the deck was stained with blood, and the ship had lost nearly a dozen men in a single night. Internal betrayal. After that night of bloodshed, the hijackers knew there was no turning back. Returning to China was impossible now, so they made a new plan. Sell the ship's goods in Japan, then disappear. The idea came from Liu Guide, who claimed he had friends in Japan who could help. But Bao Du didn't like that Liu was making decisions alone. He grew restless, even suspicious. The final spark came when Liu demanded that everyone contribute 5,000 yuan into a single bank account for their escape fund. The account belonged to his girlfriend back home. For most of the crew, 5,000 yuan was a huge sum. They had left their families behind to earn money, not to send it away. In the end, only two managed to get money transferred, Shan Guoxi and Qiu Rongwu. Liu collected about 10,000 yuan, but Bao was furious. That account is under your girlfriend's name. How do we know how much money really came in? Who can trust you? The rift between them deepened. Bao began plotting against Liu. He even tried to recruit Huang Jin, telling him, Liu only plans to take his northeastern buddies to Japan. The rest of us, he'll kill us all. If you want to survive, you'd better side with me. But Bao had miscalculated. Huang, though frustrated with Liu, was also loyal to him. Liu had always treated him well, sharing food and cigarettes, and they were close in age. Instead of joining Bao, Huang went straight to Liu. I need to tell you something important. Before Huang could even finish, Liu asked, Bao wants to kill me, doesn't he? Huang nodded. That was all Liu needed to know. Now it was a race. Strike first or die.